Hey there! Welcome to a brand new Dream SMP Headcanon lore video. A while back, I made a YouTube poll asking you guys what kind of headcanon story you'd like to see next. I expected a Technoblade Part 2, but you guys surprised me by saying that you'd rather have the next video be on Badboyhalo and Skeppy's past. So, here we are. Also, before we get started, please scroll down and check to see if you're subscribed. I am incredibly close to 3,000 subscribers, which is absolutely insane, thank you. So please, if you aren't subscribed already, hit that red button and that little notification bell. It's free and you can always unsubscribe later. Now, as always, feel free to enjoy the background video or just leave this as background audio for whatever activity you're doing. Draw, take a walk, heck, sleep to it if it helps, so long as you're enjoying yourself. Here we go. Bear with me, this beginning is a bit confusing. I'll be drawing a family tree so that the beginning of this story is easier to understand. Now, let's start. Dreamins are beings of balance descended from the children of Notch and Herobrine. One parent is a child of Notch while the other is a child of Herobrine. How two polar opposite beings come to fall in love seems beyond understanding, but then again, love is often beyond understanding anyway. Regardless, the Dreamin gods are keepers of balance in the Minecraft universe, prone to provoking order or chaos when they see fit. The most powerful of these beings is the firstborn Dreamin, the Dreamin Lord, the Dreamin, if you will. He is the only Dreamin born with two separate sides, and the only Dreamin to gain a third. As the strongest Dreamin, he has also been given the title of the God of Balance. But that's enough about the Dreamin Lord. His story is for another time. Along with the Minecraft gods, there exists a small class of demigods. These demigods are noticeably weaker than their full-fledged counterparts, and are not immortal due to their partially mortal lineage. Often, demigods belong to one line, either Notches or Herobrines. However, there is one very special demigod, a Dreamin demigod, born from both lines. Badboyhalo was 1/4 human. One of his parents was a child of Notch, while his other parent was a demigod themselves, meaning that Bad had Herobrine and Immortal as his grandparents on one end. Note that child of Notch and child of Herobrine does not specifically mean biologically. For example, a child of Notch may be Immortal who has received Notch's divine blessing, and accepted the role as a guardian of the Minecraft universe. Bad had trouble making friends when he was little. Some thought he acted too nice, others thought he looked too evil. He tried to change himself several times to accommodate whoever he was with, but in the end, his so-called friends abandoned him for never quite fitting in. When he was around 7, Bad came home, sullen after another day of rejection. He lowered his hood and the shadows receded to reveal his more human-looking face. His mother met him in the hall of their small home and noticed the bright tears shining behind his glasses. Her brow furrowed. She could already guess what had happened. Kneeling down, she pulled him close and said, "Let's have a night picnic in the yard today, Bad sniffled and rubbed at his eyes. "Can't we make muffins too?" "Of course, my darling." A child of the night, the dark often soothed Bad, and the pinpricks of starlight in the black sky always fascinated him. Whenever he had a terrible day, he and his mother would spend the night in a tent that they would pitch in the yard. They would cook dinner and dessert together beforehand, then bring the food out to eat with the fireflies while looking at the stars. At the end of the night, Bad's mother would sing him to sleep, accompanied by a hidden concert of crickets. Their little feel-better ritual went smoothly again that night, and before he knew it, Bad was fast asleep in the tent. But in the middle of the night, Bad awoke. His mother was sleeping soundly in the bundle of blankets and pillows beside him. As quietly as he could, Bad unzipped the tent flap and crawled out. He zipped it up again just so the draft wouldn't disturb his mother before situating himself in the cool grass outside. Stars were still out, gleaming like gemstones on display. Bad rested his head on his palms as he began searching for different constellations. Golden apple, mushroom, glowing kraken, he recited in his head. Sea beast, Ovis major, Ovis minor. When he couldn't sleep, he'd recall the names of the constellations and, if that didn't work, he would start to count them. He wondered what it'd be like to be a star. They knew their place in the sky and always had each other. He wished he knew where he belonged. Just as Bad was beginning to nod off, a bright flare shone above, catching his attention. He sat up straight. Eyes widening, he followed the glow as it sped through the air. A shooting star! He'd never seen one before. His mother would always say that if he ever saw a shooting star, he should make a wish. He closed his eyes. Please, I wish for a friend. Someone who will like me for who I am. Someone that I can laugh and have adventures with. A best friend. His wish complete, Bad turned to the tent, hoping to wake up his mother so she could see before any more stars shot by, then noticed that this shooting star didn't seem to leave. Instead, it appeared to come brighter and brighter, closer and closer to the earth, like a falling sun. For a moment, he feared the star would crash into him, into their home and yard, and extinguish both him and his mother in a brilliant flash. But the speeding star flew over his head and past the yard and deep into the wilderness beyond the garden walls. A loud boom resonated off in the distance, along with an orange explosion. A warm gust of air whooshed by, so strong that Bad was nearly thrown off his feet. It rattled the windows and shook the tent, rustled the leaves and disturbed the nocturnal critters. Bad opened the tent to check on his mother. Bad? Are you all right, Muffin? What was that? His mother asked blearily, sitting up. Nothing, Mama. Sorry, I used the bathroom in the house and accidentally slammed the door. Oh, all right. Are you ready to go back to sleep? Actually, I forgot I wanted to get water. I'll be back, Mama. Okay, darling. His mother lay back down and went back to sleep. After resealing the tent, Bad turned to the back wall of the yard. He was overwhelmed with curiosity. How could he not be? A star had just fallen from the sky and crash landed right behind his house. He crept over to the wall and summoned his wings. He wasn't very good with magic and was still learning to master his few powers, but he hoped he could control his wings enough to leap over the wall. His small, bat-like wings spread wide as he knelt down. Bad jumped, flapped as hard as he could, and just barely managed to reach the top of the wall. He hauled himself up, wings fluttering wildly. Once on the ledge, he took a deep breath and jumped off, spreading his wings again to slow his fall. He tumbled to the floor with only a scrape or two. Bad shook the dirt out of his hair, fixed his glasses, which, luckily, had not cracked, and pulled up his hood. He asked the shadows to cover him, to grant him their protection, as he followed the blazing path left by the fallen star. Shadow cloaking was the only magic spell that truly came naturally to him, but perhaps that was because he saw his mother use the trick ever since he could remember. Bad felt guilty for sneaking out, but he knew his mother would never allow him to follow the star into the forest, especially in the middle of the night. And he also knew that there would be no way he'd be able to go back to sleep without seeing what was at the end of the trail. What did a star look like from up close? He desperately wanted to know. The woods were still somewhat damp from recent rainfall, so the small fires left by the star were already dying out. Bad put out a few stray flames by stomping on them or patting them out with his tail. The forest was quiet. It seemed many of the animals had fled the scene. He followed the path of wreckage deeper into the forest. The foliage became thicker, trees blocking the rest of the stars above from view, save for the strip he walked that the shooting star had cleared out when it fell. Flames became larger and more common the further he went. The smoke was irritating, but not enough to make him turn around. He simply covered his mouth and nose with the collar of his shirt, waved the smoke away, and kept going. He came upon an area of the forest where many of the trees were knocked flat on the ground like massive toy soldiers. The flames here crackled loudly, hot and bright, as if he had just walked into a smelting furnace. Yet Bad barely registered the heat. He was too busy staring at the giant boulder at the end of the path. The star. It had dug itself deep into the earth, a trench beginning from where Bad's feet had stopped and ending at the boulder's resting place. Much of it was a gray-brown crust, but part of it was a light blue, and these blue spots that peeked out from behind the dirty, dusty crust, glue. Entranced, Bad cautiously crept closer, making his way down the ditch and toward the star he followed. The blue light pulsed rhythmically, a heartbeat illuminating the night, putting the amber fires around them to shame. It was almost like the star was calling to him, daring Bad to come closer. Then the star was within reach, and Bad was extending a hand towards its light. The star was cold, surprisingly. Comforting, like laying your head on a cool desk indoors after a hot summer's day. He stared at the glittering rock with his breath caught in his throat. It was beautiful. It was quite literally astronomical. It was cracking? It exploded. The world became sheer blue light, harsh and blinding. Bad screamed as he was flung backwards, tumbling into the dirt. Another strong gust of wind radiating from the boulder shot out, extinguishing all the fires and sending debris flying in all directions. The earth shook, the trees groaned, the world howled. And then it was silent. Bad gingerly sat up. He felt miraculously fine for the most part. Definitely bruised, but fine. With some effort, he pushed himself to his feet, glancing up once he was steady. The star boulder looked like it was cracked open, all the glittering blue gone, and the gray-brown crust lying like jagged eggshells. A small light remained, though, glowing steadily from within the shells, no longer pulsing. Bad stumbled over, ignoring his fears in favor of catching a glimpse of the light source. Coming up to the star again, or rather, what was left of it, Bad peered over a stone shell to the light source within the new crater. Glowing blue boy in gray clothes stared back, wide-eyed. They looked at each other quietly, processing that the other was there. After a moment, the blue boy screeched, and Bad joined him shortly after. "Who are you?" demanded the blue boy. "Who are you?" Bad shot back, scrambling away from the strange kid. "I asked you first. I asked you second." "Exactly, so you should answer me," the boy insisted. "Are you a demon? Are you gonna eat my soul?" "I'm not gonna eat your soul. You didn't answer the first part." "Well," Bad paused. He didn't want to scare the boy by telling him he was a dreamin'. Sure, he was weird, but maybe he was friendly when he wasn't freaked out. He took off his hood and released the shadow cloaking. "Well, do I look like a demon now?" Ooh, I can do something like that too," the other boy exclaimed, forgetting all caution and completely ignoring Bad's question. "Watch." His face screwed up in concentration. The star child grew brighter for a second before different colors flashed over him, coloring everything except for the gray clothes he wore. Soon, he looked like a completely normal human child. "Whoa, that was so cool!" But Bad shook his head, not letting himself get too distracted. "I answered you, so now you have to answer me," Bad said instead. "Who are you?" The boy thought for a moment before smiling and shrugging. "I don't know." Bad frowned. "What do you mean you don't know?" "I don't know," he shrugged again. "All I know is I was made from a wish and some magic and a diamond space rock, and now I'm here. Oh, and I'm supposed to find someone named Badboyhalo. I'm excited to meet him. Do you know where I can find him?" That's me. I'm Badboyhalo." "Oh, that makes a lot more sense now that I think about it," said the boy, nodding. He extended a hand. "Nice to meet you, Bad." Bad shook the offered hand. "Nice to meet you too. Do you have a name?" "Nope," came the cheerful reply. "But what should I call you then?" "I don't know. You can pick. Pick a good name for me." Another pause. "Actually, I don't know if I should trust someone with the name Badboyhalo to pick a name for me." "Hey, it's not like I named myself. Don't be so skeptical of my naming abilities." "Ooh, skeptical. That's a cool sounding word." "You think so? Then your name could be Skeppy?" "Skeppy," murmured the diamond boy, trying out the name. "Yeah, okay. I think I like that. I'm Skeppy, and we're gonna have a ton of adventures, Bad." "Really? You mean that?" "Of course. And our first adventure will be... getting out of this forest." "Oh, right. That's a good idea. Come on, you can stay at my house. We have extra muffins, and I'm sure Mama wouldn't mind. Just be quiet, though, because she's asleep in a tent outside." "Okay, I can do that." And so, Bad grabbed his new friend by the hand, and together they ran through the dark forest, retracing the trail Skeppy's descent had left, laughing all the way back to Bad's house. They scaled the garden wall, Bad slowing their descent into the yard as best as he could with his wings, then snuck into the house. In the morning, Bad's mother was extraordinarily surprised to find her little boy fast asleep in a fortress of pillows and blankets, next to another child in a plate of muffin crumbs. The end. Sorry, I didn't know how to transition from the story to the outro. Also, yes, this did have some Lilo and Stitch influence. Like, when writing it, all I could think about was the meme, so yeah. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and if you made it to this point of the video, please type muffin or rat in the comments below. Either one, I'm giving you options this time. In exchange, I'll give you a poggers back. Oh, and of course, feel free to suggest anything that you'd like to see in a future Headcanon lore video. You can suggest whose Dream SMP character I could do next, or if you just have any ideas or headcanons of your own, feel free to just comment below, and of course, I will make sure to give credit where it is due. If you'd like to keep up with my progress and my other projects, all my socials are linked in the description below. Also, I want to try streaming video games on Twitch some more, because I think that would be super fun, so my Twitch channel is in the description, and it would be amazing if you could go and follow that. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening. I'll see you next time. Bye!